Watson, we've got a mystery to solve.
Welcome back to Watch Along Pod. Today we're cracking open the case of Disney's Basil, the Great Mouse Detective.
Released in 1986, this animated mystery is based on the Basil of Baker Street series of novels.
Basil, a brilliant but eccentric mouse detective living beneath the floorboards of Baker Street, teams up with his sidekick, Dr. Dawson, to rescue a young mouse girl's father from the sinister Professor Rattigan.
To many, Basil the Great Mouse Detective is considered to be an overlooked Disney gem. But can it really stand up alongside the greats?
Let's talk about it.
Is everybody ready?
Hello!
Hey, welcome back to Watch Along Pod.
This week, can you guess what we watched?
Did it give away? I don't think my hat is correct.
Well, if you're not sure, we watched Basil, the Great Mouse Detective.
Only if you live in the UK.
Yeah, if you live in America, it's just the Great Mouse Detective.
Yeah. This film released in July 1986. You know what else released in July 1986?
No.
Me! I'm as old as this film.
Well, it shows. I'm joking.
Yeah, the film looks great. So, what did you think? You seen this before?
I haven't seen this before, but I did actually like it more than I was expecting to. I didn't really have any feelings going into it, but I do love Sherlock. So then part of me is like, why have I never watched this before? Because I do love Sherlock Holmes and all of those kind of types of stories. Hence why I dressed up today.
Just this old thing, just hanging in your wardrobe.
Had it lying around, and my pipe. But no Deerstalker to Nick's upset, He was very upset with me.
It's like you're so close to having the full costume.
Well, I can't be perfect, all right? But yes, no, I was pleasantly surprised at how well they executed that sort of like Sherlock and Watson dynamic with the characters. And I really liked some of the little things about Sherlock, like, he's got his violin still there and he's got his, crazy potions going on and experiments, and it just little things that I was like, oh, they really are making Sherlock accessible for kids. So
yeah, I used to have this film on VHS.
Oh yeah,
I used to watch it a lot when I was a kid, and I know every time I've said that about a film, I've not been able to remember any of it, and I've been a little bit disappointed. But this time, although I couldn't remember any of it, I wasn't disappointed.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I quite liked this film, Basil, the
Yeah.
Great Mouse Detective.
No, I was pleasantly surprised. I'm not saying that it's now my top film and I want to watch it 100 times.
No.
But it's been better than the last few we've watched.
Yeah. For me, it was just nice to revisit something from my childhood.
Yeah.
But the fact that I couldn't really remember any of it, there was no rose-tinted glasses. There was no nostalgia effect. It was just like...
No, that's all the next few weeks.
Next few months, I think.
Oof.
But
no, I did enjoy it. I thought it was nice to have some songs back.
Yes.
Even though they were very weird.
Yeah, they...
The first song that Rattigan sings, who's like the big bad guy in it,
voiced by Vincent Price.
I don't know. I felt like the melody was going to go somewhere at first, like Ratigan, Ratigan, da, da, I don't know, like Smelly Cat. It was reminding me of Smelly Cat actually. Smelly Cat, Smelly Cat. But it just, it didn't. I felt like the song didn't feel like it flowed very well. Felt quite like jolty and like, yeah, it felt like someone who had never written a song wrote the lyrics for that song. Like they didn't quite fit and flow very well.
Yeah, the Ratigan song I thought was quite good at setting up what kind of a villain he was.
Yeah.
We got a good look at Ratigan.
Ratigan. Yeah.
But it's not a very memorable song. I can't.
Didn't sing it to you.
No, you're not humming it.
No, I quite liked that it showed that his henchmen, like all the mice, were still scared of him as well. They weren't just on his side because he was offering a better life. They were just terrified. So they were not going anywhere.
Yep, and he's just like, you drunkard? No, cat food.
Yeah, well, that was a dramatic scene. Obviously, he got called a rat, which he is. But, if he doesn't want to identify as a rat, that's all right.
Progressive.
Progressive for the time. And yeah, so the drunk mouse says, "You're a rat." And he's like, "What?" And he rings his little bell. Ding, 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 ding.
Stops the entire song for this.
Boom, boom, boom. I was like, it's got to be a cat. It's got to be a cat. And there she was.
Felicia. What name?
Yeah. And I loved her with a little bow in her hair. But I thought it was really, dramatic. I didn't think the cat would actually eat the mouse. Like, I thought, he was going to get trapped or just, chased by the cat or something to scare him. No, you see in the shadow her pick up the mouse, put it in her mouth, and then you see all of the other mice, drop their heads and, wipe tears away. And I was like, oh.
Brutal.
She ate him. Just like my cat one day when my mum walked into the living room and saw that my cat had a mouse in his mouth with the tail hanging out.
He suck it up like spaghetti. The thing I liked most about the Ratigan song, when it started, I was like, yes, Disney's coming back, baby.
It felt like a good villain. It felt like a really dramatic villain, didn't it? It felt, camp villain. That's what we like.
Yeah. I just liked the fact that we've got characters randomly bursting out into song to give context or whatever. It felt like a real step in the right direction.
It does.
In terms of the films, because these Dark Ages or the Bronze Age, if we're going to be kind, I
don't think our rankings have been kind, so why would we?
No. Can you imagine living at the time when these were new releases?
Yeah.
You'd start thinking, Disney's losing its way. I'm not going to bother anymore.
You think about films in the 80s, and these are not films that you would name about big 80s films. They're just not. They're not the ones that you're going to talk about. Whereas when we hit the next decade, if you say big 90s films, some of those Disney ones are going to be included in that list for anybody, not just Disney people, for anyone, because they were some of the biggest movies of those years.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I just really think the 80s, Disney, maybe they were just focusing on other things. I don't know. I don't know what else was happening at that time with Disney.
It's a new generation of writers, a new generation of animators coming in. Disney had a new CEO. They had a new head of animated film. So there were a lot of changes, and I think what we're seeing, starting from The Great Mouse Detective
Yeah.
is that all just they're finding their way, they're finding their feet, and it is moving in the right direction, and they just
This-
progressively get better from now on.
They're starting to come out of the dark ages. This is where they're starting to go, oh, actually, our bread and butter is actually in this style of film, not in some of this other genres we've been trying to explore. And I don't get me wrong, I think the dark ages did great things for Disney in terms of it helped them hone what is special about Disney and what works and what doesn't work. And without those periods, you wouldn't develop onto that next section. Like we go for another experimental era after the Renaissance, where there again, I wouldn't say some of the films are as bad as the Dark Ages, but there's definitely some stinkers in there, and definitely some stuff where you go, oh, Disney sort of went a little bit left field with this. You know, they sort of went in a weird direction, and but then you then start hitting back to your Tangled, your Princess and the Frog, Frozen, and they start them refinding their feet, and it's suddenly like, whoa, we're balls rolling again. And I just think that that's sort of this weird roundabout that they have, that they just keep going round this merry-go-round of, you know, they try new things and then they take what works in that and move it forward, but then they still always go back to some of the original stuff.
Yeah, and sometimes you just need to fail before you can succeed. In regards to this, it means trying different things, trying the shoes on, seeing which ones fit.
And I guess talking of trying things is that, you know, they're starting to try all of the computer generated stuff with these films, and they're starting to really see, oh, actually, this works. We can push forward with this. And I'm not saying Disney were the first or anything like that. I know lots of other studios were doing it, but in terms of Disney as a company and how that was going to work for them, these were very pivotal movies, especially this one, for that.
Well, yeah, this movie was the first animated movie to use extensive CGI. The whole clock tower scene at the end, you can tell it's CGI. All of the gears. It's also the first time that a 2D animated cell was mixed with CGI as well.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, when you look at how far we've come from there, they were just testing the waters with it then.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of like, whoa, put on the brakes. Let's go back a little bit because.
Yeah, sometimes it's about finding that good balance between it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And finding what feels right. And some films, you want that really loads of CGI, and in some films you want something more classic. You know, it's nice to have a bit of a mix of all different films.
We were talking about the songs. There's another song in this. It was a bit weird. In the bar, the tavern.
Honestly, I watched that bit, and at first when they walked into the tavern, I was like, oh, is this going to be like a funny comedy scene where, you know, a fight starts out, which, yes, that does happen. But before that, we get a whole burlesque show.
We get a sexy mouse.
A sexy mouse.
Whew, I got hot under the collar.
Do you reckon she's the sister of Bianca from Rescuers?
No, they had different accents.
No, I definitely thought that scene was weird. Like, I just wasn't expecting it.
No.
And the lyrics and everything. And then when she comes out and she's got a different outfit on, I was like, whoa. And then she rips that outfit off and she's got a full burlesque outfit on. And I was like, I mean, I want the outfit, but...
Yeah, I just thought she showed leg and the garter, and it was just like this, the details on this are
I also
too much.
did think, why are more people not cosplaying as that?
I wasn't thinking that until you said it.
Well, there were another two sexy mice, weren't there? They had background singers.
Yeah.
And dancers.
They weren't as sexy.
No. But they were backup, weren't they? They weren't the main attraction.
No. But I think the point is, I am really surprised that was left in the film. How did censors not remove that? How did that get a U rating?
I guess there was nothing to a child. I don't think you'd know the connotations of it. You just think, oh, it's a performance, like somebody singing on the stage and people are enjoying it. As an adult, you're like,
Because we're corrupted. Dirty minds.
yep. But yeah, weird song. It was a weird inclusion. I mean, I loved that there was a song in there, but it felt like you could have given like the little girl a song or something. Like while they were in the bar looking, she could have been outside singing a, emotive song about she misses her daddy.
Yeah, but we've had that. We had that in The Rescuers when the little girl was.
Yeah, but we could have done it better.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been hard.
No.
Yeah. So we haven't spoken about Basil yet.
We probably should speak about Baz,
The main man.
the main mouse. I think he's a great interpretation of Sherlock. Knowing the character of Sherlock and how sort of all over the place he is and a bit manic to follow, I felt like they did it really well for a mouse. Like I quite enjoyed it. Like I felt like they really got the essence of the character. Watson, I felt like they didn't maybe give him as much credit as sometimes he's due. I felt like they made him a bit more bumbling, just sort of, trying to keep up and trying to go along, which Watson is intelligent in his own right as well.
Yeah, he just was a bit of a foil to Basil in this, wasn't he?
Yeah, whereas that's not necessarily, Watson does actually help a lot in.
Yeah, because Sherlock is so highly intelligent, he would not keep around someone who wasn't going to be of any use to him.
Absolutely, and I did like the end bit where Basil's clearly trying to ask Dawson, not Watson, Dawson, to stay, but he won't say it outright. But then he's sort of like, my partner, like, and Dawson's like, what?
And he says, "Oh, he comes on all of my adventures with me."
Yeah.
That was nice. I liked in Basil's home where he had all of these contraptions and experiments going on. For some reason, he had a pair of shoes just walking on paper for no reason.
He was probably studying what a footprint looks like under different circumstances. I don't know, I'm making that up, but
yeah, you are. It was just there to be kooky and make him look eccentric.
I feel like this is one that could have got a sequel.
At the end, it kind of feels like they're setting one up, doesn't it?
I think I would have preferred a sequel to this than The Rescuers. And I know everybody keeps telling me Rescuers Down Under is much better than the original Rescuers, and I will hold judgment on that until I've seen it. But I just feel like there are so many Sherlock Holmes stories that they then could have adapted. Obviously, this is based on.
It's based on a book, so this is actually based on something that's based on something.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's Inception, but but yeah, I just feel like there was a lot more stuff they could have then gone on to another adventure with those characters, and it would have worked. So yeah, I do think it's a shame it didn't get more, but I think they probably. I wonder if that was in the pipeline at one point, but then other stuff really, really took over.
Yeah, I think it's really strange that it's so similar in concept to The Rescuers.
Yeah.
But
I just think it's just done better.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's because it's based on Sherlock, and then obviously the books are based on Sherlock, and then the film's based on those books. so that there's so much already planned out. Like those characters are so well developed, and there's lots of stuff to really pull upon and understand that. But I don't know.
Don't know. It would have been interesting to see a crossover if they'd done a sequel. Have Basil and the rescuers team up.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
That'd have been good, yeah.
Don't see why they couldn't have made that happen.
They could still make it happen.
They still could. I don't know which film performed best of the two.
I don't know. Do not know. But I prefer this one over Rescuers, personally.
Hey, I'll tell you whose voice it was fun to hear in this.
Yes, the first voice we hear right at the beginning.
Uncle Scrooge.
It took me a while. Like, when he first started talking, I was like, I know that voice. I was like, going, who is that? I really know that. I really know who that is. Oh my goodness, who is it? And then suddenly it hit me. And I was like, Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah. Now, you've said before that you're not really like the type of person that picks up on voice actors.
Yeah, no, that one hit me.
Alan Young's Scrooge voice, like, he's not even Scottish. Yeah, it's just so recognisable, so iconic.
I knew that one straight away. I was like, yeah, whoa. But yeah, no, I thought he was a good character. Like, really, like, sort of reminds me of another character coming up, Belle's father.
Oh yeah,
sort of a crazy inventor.
Yeah, I mean, he was the real genius in this film.
Oh, absolutely. That doll that he made, that figurine he made for his daughter.
Yeah, this film's set in the late 1800s. He made a robot.
It was incredible.
With wireless voice technology.
Ahead of his time.
He was ahead of his time. No wonder Rattigan wanted to kidnap him.
Yeah, old Rattigan.
Yeah. Can we talk about Rattigan's scheme, his plan?
To become the queen.
Pretty much.
I mean, I thought he was a queen, but...
Oh.
No.
Yeah. Make a robot.
Of the queen.
Kidnap, but don't kill the real queen. And then marry the robot? Okay.
I mean... There's been worse plans, but...
Yeah, I think his sort of fatal flaw in this was that he left the Queen alive. Did you spot the cameo?
I did.
Who did you see?
I thought Dumbo. So cute.
In the toy shop scene, blowing bubbles.
Straight away, I was like, oh, that's Dumbo. And then I was like, guy, looking like, was there anybody else? Did I miss anybody? Did I see anybody?
I didn't see anything else, but I was doing the exact same.
The one thing I did notice was the little bassinet, whatever. Bassinet?
Basket.
The little crib that was rocking back and forth. I don't know if it was meant to, but it looked identical to the one that the kittens are stolen out of in Aristocats.
Oh, okay.
So it's reminiscent of that scene when she's going up to the crib to pull it back to find the kittens, and there's nobody there, and it's like, ah! Like when she pulled it back, and then there was the bat.
Yeah, I didn't join the dots with that, but no, that's nice. The bat.
Pegleg.
Fidget, his name was.
Fidget? Oh, Pegleg.
Yeah.
Pegleg.
He seemed like a bit of a wasted opportunity.
He did, definitely. I felt like there was so much more they could have done with that character.
Yeah, he reminded me a little bit of a character from The Black Cauldron. I can't remember his name, but he was the Horned King's sidekick, his little gremlin friend.
Yeah, gremlin.
Yeah. he was just made to be kind of like wacky, and he was supposed to kind of be like a bit of a comic relief.
I sort of wanted him to end up almost being like the bandits in Home Alone, where like he would just get like beaten about all the time. Like, why did he have a peg leg? We need like it felt like he was going to be super clumsy and like really bad at his job. But he got everything on the list and still was being going to get eaten by Felicia.
Yeah, he was just far too competent, and like he just went and did what he needed to do, and that was it. It was like, oh, wanted more from that funny character. Don't create someone so zany and
Yeah, I feel like he would have been funny if it was like just a series of comic errors, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the direction they went in.
So we've got a mouse who lives underneath. Is it 221?
221B Baker Street.
Yes. He lives underneath Sherlock's house.
Yes.
He has a sidekick.
Yes.
They go and fight crime together.
Yes.
That's Danger Mouse.
Is it?
That is Danger Mouse, yeah. Although Danger Mouse is a bit more of a James Bond sort of character rather than a Sherlock character. Yeah. I wonder which idea came first.
I have no clue. I wasn't born.
No. Well, the Danger Mouse TV series came out before the Great Mouse Detective movie, but I don't know about the book.
Oh, yeah. Well, talking of the fact that they live underneath the house, when they go into the toy store, everything's huge. So that is the human version of the toy store. Is that the human version of the toy store that her dad owns, or is that just another toy store, or like?
So the way I understood it, that in this universe, every human building has a mouse version underneath or inside. So the toy maker, don't know his name, but the one who gets kidnapped in this lives underneath the big toy shop that we see in that scene.
Mm-hmm. How scary is the doll in that?
Oh, there was loads of scary stuff.
Huge.
Yeah, and then when she gets shattered, her face smashes.
And then for her eyes still blinking.
Yeah,
and I was like,
it was creepy. We had like some real close-up, like clown faces and stuff. I could see that scene being a little bit triggering for some people.
Yeah, it could be a bit scary for a kid, but then it's quite funny at the same time because, like, when the guy is the knight on the horse with the lance, and then that's when Dawson gets speared with it, doesn't he? And that's quite funny because he goes into the dartboard, and so it's quite. I think there's some great comedy moments in that kids would laugh at.
Yeah. So I have a question for you.
Elementary, Watson.
So if underneath Sherlock Holmes's house is a mouse who is a detective like Sherlock, and underneath the toy shop is a mouse who is a toy maker, what would the mouse that lives underneath your house do?
The mouse under my house.
Probably get eaten by a boy.
Well, that has already happened. The mouse under my house would probably sleep a lot. Would have another mouse come over that they do a podcast with. They would play The Sims a lot. The mouse Sims. So yeah.
A lot.
And what would the mouse under your house do?
I don't know what he would do. I just know that he'd be really handsome and funny.
Right.
And not do much else.
Well, it will have started going to the gym.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe the little mouse gym.
Little mouse gym.
Yeah, he'd play little mouse video games with all of his spare time.
Would have become a little mini TikTok star and then, you know.
Oh, please. So, Sherlock,
Yes, Watson.
shall we rate the film?
Yes, that is the next thing we shall do. This week, we've got old Basil. Last week, we put good old Black Cauldron at 81. I think it's safe to say this is better than Black Cauldron.
Oh, for sure.
So let's get rid of that board.
Bye-bye.
Our next board, we've got a bit of a cluster here. We've got Rescuers, which we think is better than. Ichabod.
I'd say it's better than Ichabod.
It's better than Ichabod. Winnie the Pooh.
It's better than Winnie the Pooh.
Fox and the Hound. I don't think it's better than Fox and the Hound.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
I think, as a whole, the animation on Fox and the Hound is much better.
Right.
I think it's really beautiful, Fox and the Hound, and I think it's a more of a classic Disney film, and the songs are slightly better. I still can't get out of my head
Right.
elimination,
Kylie
education.
Minogue.
Lack of education, elimination. So, therefore, I find Fox and the Hound slightly better.
I think Fox and the Hound is more memorable.
Definitely.
It does come back to the discussion. I don't think we ever really made a decision on this, but is our list the film that we think is a better film or the film that we think is more enjoyable? Because The Fox and the Hound was heartbreaking, where this was just a jolly good adventure romp.
It was, but I did get bored towards the end.
Yeah, pacing...
Lost it a bit.
It was really fast, and then it wasn't.
Yeah, and I just felt like it, towards the end, I was a bit like, okay, come on, I'm over it now. It felt like you probably could have cut 10 minutes of the film and it would have still been good. That's why, for me, Fox and the Hound, that kept my attention right till the end. As does Sword in the Stone, which is the next one up from that. And I definitely think Sword in the Stone is a better film than this.
Yeah. Everything you've said is absolutely fair. Good points, well presented.
So I think who's going down again, and Basil's going in.
Number 77, Basil, the Great Mouse Detective. Next week, we've got a film that you absolutely love.
So I haven't watched this film since I was little. So I'm really hoping that it stands up to my memory of it. I used to love it when I was a kid. And I just hope it doesn't. Sometimes when things don't hold up over time and you're like, oh, why did I like this? A bit like you with Rescuers. So I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. But next week we are watching Oliver and Company.
I'm looking forward to seeing this because you have glazed it so much to me. I've never seen it.
I think I love it because obviously it's based on Oliver.
Yeah.
And it's got a ginger cat in it. So I think that's probably a big pull for me. And I like the songs in it. It's a real musical. Why should I worry?
I don't remember that song.
Huh?
I've seen Oliver and I don't remember that song.
Well, that's not in Oliver.
What? So we're not getting...
Consider yourself.
Yeah.
No.
You gotta pick a pocket or two, boy.
No, it's not Oliver the Musical.
It's
By
Oliver
Leonard
and Company.
All that's left for us to say is...
Remember,
You're
you're
never too old to be young.
Bye. That was rubbish.
Is everybody ready?